Today we're continuing the work on our Acura TL, specifically starter replacement. Now this will be listed on our website at carsntoys.net under auto repair and in the starting section on the site. Additionally, the video will be added to our Acura TL repair playlist. The link will be in the description box below. So the first thing that we need to do is remove this plastic cover. They're just held in by these clips on the bottom. And of course you just need to remove the battery terminals. Now in this case, as you can see, they're already off because I'm doing other work on the car right now. But just use a 10mm, remove the terminals, and pop the battery right out. So now we need to remove the battery tray. As you can see, we have 4 bolts on top. These two happen to be 12 and these are 10mm. You have 2 other bolts that are underneath this battery plate. The first one is right around this location. I'll show you how to get to this one, and then we have another one right here which is a little bit easier. Now what I'm doing is removing the body plastic clips holding on this lower plastic piece, and then just remove the entire piece out of the way. Once you remove that bottom cover, you'll have easy access, or easier access I should say, to this bottom bolt. This happens to be a 12mm. What I'll be using is a ratcheting wrench. That, in my opinion, is the easiest way to get this out because the room is very, very tight. This is probably the hardest part of the job, to be honest, is just getting out this battery tray. So we'll just place the wrench right over it, and it's a little difficult to get to. And there we go. And there you go. And then you have one last bolt right there. Again, this happens to be a 12mm. Now this is the positive lead running to the starter, and if you take a look, you have this harness around it, this plastic harness, and it's held on to a metal tab. Now to remove it, let me just zoom in here. To remove it, right here on top where my thumb is, there's a little tab. Push up toward this direction. Push up and pull off. It can be a little hard sometimes if it's rusted, but you have to put some strength to it. And there you go. And then we have a little rubber boot we need to remove, and this is a 12mm connection here. And I'll just place the bolt back on here so we don't lose it. And then you have another connection right here. This is just a normal clip type connection. And there you go. Now you have 2 17mm bolts holding on the starter. There's your first one. You have another one right down there. A couple techniques you can do to get to this. Number one, right here is your upper radiator hose, and the bolt is directly below it. Now you can use a long wrench. This is a Craftsman in this case. Let me just see if I can get this on camera here. Something like this you can do. There you go. You can do something like this, but it can be a little hard to get to because you have the plastic cover here. You also have the upper radiator hose. So what I'm going to do is use a breaker bar. And as you can see, you have this insanely huge handle, and you can grab a lot of torque, and that's it. And then we'll just use a simple ratchet to remove the bolt. There's your top one. Bottom bolt will be, again, using the braking bar. And I can tell you this bottom one is really tight. If you don't have one of these, really pick up a breaker bar. You can pick them up really anywhere. This is from Harbor Freight in this case. Now we have the ratchet set up, and just to give me a little bit extra leverage, I'm using a 3/16 of an inch socket to place over the end of the ratchet, and this just gives me some more leverage to remove this bottom bolt. Okay, and there's your bottom bolt. and just remove the starter from the vehicle. If it's a little hard to remove, get yourself a piece of wood and lightly tap the piece of wood with a hammer, and it'll come right out. And just go ahead, plop in your new starter, hook everything back up, and you'll be in good shape.